I know that vast majority will be KYC and custodial, but I think keeping the narrative of non-custodial, maybe non-KYC, not your keys, not your coins, I think use it as money. Go spend it, go do some cool stuff. Build, spend, collateralize, do all that. Dude, like there are more cool things in life to do than dying with Bitcoin. Right now it's cool. Buy a small mini miner for $100. Yeah, nice. Is it long-term sustainable? I don't know. I wish. Again, I'm one of the supporters, guys, so don't lynch me. But again, are we gonna hit 10% of the global hash rate? I don't think so. I wish. There's no real good argument. Like, that's cleanest energy as it gets and nobody wants it. Like, you're not boiling the ocean, you're not killing the baby seals. It's like literally the cleanest energy on the planet that nobody wants. I want to stay hopeful. I love it here, man. Like, I love Prague, really, honestly. But it doesn't look good. Like, we just know how to regulate.
Hey, dude, how are you doing? Everything fine on your end?
What's up? I love Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin mining, and I want to talk about it. So I'm very happy to be here. I don't have to do the boring work, and I can, nerd out with a fellow Bitcoiner on a podcast. So it's like it's pretty good life, man.
Yeah. Maybe before we get started with all the topics, because I do want to touch on Bitcoin mining, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Maybe give us a brief overview of who you are and especially why you're excited about Bitcoin.
Sure. So I'm chief of propaganda at Brains. A very fancy way to say CMO. So I run marketing here at Brains. Brains is one of the oldest Bitcoin companies. So we do software for Bitcoin miners. So we don't mine ourselves, or we do, and we will continue to do more. But in our history, we're always the software nerds for Bitcoin mining. And we're in the space since 2010. We do all this mining pool. We do other cool stuff. But I run marketing, so anything from marketing, PR, social media, all that thing. So basically, I'm a BD guy without a commission. So it's like I do a lot so that people use our stuff, but then I don't get paid so well as the BD guy. So yeah, but on that, yeah. Anyway, so I sound very well trained marketing monkey, basically.
I love that.
And why I love Bitcoin, man, dude. So it's a story. So I've had very different story. I have I came for the greed state for the revolution. I got my friends who are like economists, and they're like cyberpunks and thinking about freedom. I wish I was that smart. Like, literally, I came, I was 2016, then coming to Sentinel. Like, I saw all the ICOs and crypto stuff, and so I came for the greed. But then I was like, oh, this is interesting. That is interesting. And I was always like liking freedom, man. I live in Prague. It's like it's the best freedom land ever. But anyway, so I got brought to the space by greed, and then I was like, hey, this is pretty cool, and we're changing the world. So while at Bitcoin, it's a revolution, money revolution. So that's why I'm here. So I'm sticking around. It's no more job. I just love the space, and 24/7 I just live Bitcoin, man.
Awesome. And Prague is also extremely meaningful in the Bitcoin space. There's a lot, like in Czech in general. There's a lot of interesting stories around the freedom aspect and the sovereignty. I think with Bitcoin Prague, the people cover it also quite nicely. And there's a lot of history even within Bitcoin, not just freedom in general, but like in Bitcoin specifically, also with the mining and the mining pools and all, and with Brains and a lot of that. I think also Treasury and like a lot of really interesting things all came like from Czech. So like it's kind of like almost a small Bitcoin hub within Europe.
I call it a small crypto Schweiz. It's like a crypto Switzerland, but we don't say crypto. I mean, in the best way possible as a Bitcoin maximalist myself. But yeah, it's true. I think Jan Čapek, the co-founder of Brains, once he said it very nicely. Several things came together. So historically, we're under Soviet Russia, right? So we had Soviets here, we had Russians here, we had communists here. So we know it sucks. Like, not having freedom sucks. And at the same time, before that, like, people from here were very like we call it very golden hands. But back then, like, we're very good at like creating new stuff and building stuff. So I think that like urge to build and create and and add value was always here. For some reason, I don't know, like I think it's maybe also the strategic location that you're right in the center of Europe, right? So all the trade paths go through here. So like historically you had the universities here, and like it was always like the land of like the academics and art people. So like I think it was a lot of those things combined historically throughout the ages. And then basically what happened, like we lost the freedom, like big time. Like it was brutal. Like go read history. It sucked. So I think how Jan Čapek said it, like once we got the freedom back, like it was very natural that we had the like not anymore the golden hands, but the golden brains, right? So it was like the age of digital. So it was mostly the new era of hackers, and then combined with like, hey, we really like freedom and we want to build for freedom. So I think very few people figure it out, and they said, hey, and it clicked in the Bitcoin space because they're very smart guys. They're very successful IT guys, you know, from all the companies. But then it clicked, like all those things clicked for Bitcoin. And I think we're very lucky in that. And there are like several people who are key in the beginning of that journey for the Prague community on Bitcoin. And then they're like educated. So right from the beginning, like 2009 and 10, like there was a very hardcore community building stuff. And that is very difficult to replicate because there was a giant community building stuff. Like, so we have the oldest mining pool. We're running the oldest mining pool. Since 2010, the first hardware wallet, Treasury. You have the both mining protocols, Stratum V2. You have General Bytes that are creating like the Bitcoin ATMs. They're like top 3 in the world, and I think they're one of the first. We had the first Bitcoin conference here. We had the first coffee place accepting Bitcoin. So I think it was like that was so much luck, all the different factors coming together and create that environment. So yeah, there's no surprise right now. Like we're like Bitcoin capital, like I say, of Europe, but I would stretch it to the world. And it's very difficult to compete with this. We have giant companies. We have such a big legacy. And really just on the community level, like I was just traveling the US for the past 6 months, like visiting the miners and all the meetups and things. And then one of the biggest meetups was in Houston. Really great meetup, but it was like a statistical outlier. Like they had over 100 people, and they're like, oh wow, this is like giant success. Like only Houston can do it, you know? And I was like, this is a regular Friday for Bitcoiners in Prague, sort of. So it's like considering Czech Republic is 10 million people and Prague is 1 million, it's like a village in the US standards, you know? So like, but that type of Bitcoin meetups, it's really like regular Thursday. So Prague is amazing, man. Really highly recommend it. Also, it's amazing city. Amazing.
How would you compare USA and Europe? Because I feel like because Europe has so many different languages, especially when we talk in English, a lot of the big creators come all from America, some from the UK, and very little from Europe. I was actually talking with some people I think Relay it was, where they kind of assessed where they wanna sponsor people, and they told me like, oh yeah, like you are one of 2 bigger podcasts that are English speaking, but like having their roots and actually living in Europe. There are not that many, because they want to do it in a native language. And so I think there's this weird balance shift where you have the feeling everything is going on in the USA because of English language, but there's actually a lot of going on in Europe just because like you have to listen for the Spanish people in Spanish. You have to listen, to the German people in German and all those different facets. How in general do you see like Europe versus Prague, so like the Prague HubSpot and the Czech HubSpot versus the rest of Europe, but then also like how is Europe going towards like the USA if you just like toured there?
I don't think, by the way, there is a like clear path, like staying local and local language or going English and a bigger audience, like if there's like a winner, because really I can argue for both ways. Let's go. So yes, it's true that from Europe we don't have much of the English speaking influencers, let's say, or content creators rather. But is it a bad thing? I mean, like, let's look at Czech Republic. So Czech Republic has 10 million people, and then Slovak Republic, Slovaks are just next to us, and they speak such a similar language. We can consume their content, they can consume ours, and they're a small country, there are 6 million. So let's say total, it's 15 million market share, right? And we have a Bitcoiner on YouTube, Kitom, a Bitcoin channel, so like Bitcoin channel, just in Czech language. And he just passed like 2 months ago 100,000 subscribers. If you compare that like to BTC Sessions, I think he's the biggest one in English. BTC Sessions Ben would have 350,000 follow subscribers on YouTube. So I'm not saying I don't think it's bad like having the locals and local content creators focusing on their language. You can create very nice niche. And also like I really feel it in Czech. Like we look up to the like global names, but having a guy like from this village that you know him and he speaks your own language, it just has a way bigger influence and reach. And you just accept the like you study Bitcoin easier with a dude you know, sort of. It's like a so I would people. I was thinking myself like if I do some like creative videos about mining, like if I do it in what language, I wouldn't worry too much about it. What was so I wanted just to balance like the English approach and local approach. I think both are important, and I would really so even this. So we started doing books, right? And we have publishing in English now, but we started doing that actually 5 years ago, just translating foreign books to Czech language, and I think, and we had giant success. Like, and I think really like if we want to accelerate the Bitcoin adoption education, I think it's very, very important not to do everything in English and focus on local languages. So I forgot what was the initial question now. I nerded out about it.
I love that because I think, and I'll get back to the question, but I think the language is a really interesting one because I was thinking about that so long and so hard of where I want to start. And I started actually on Twitter completely on German, and then I switched back to English. And especially with the podcast. And my main reason was because I do an interview podcast, so I'm very much reliant on the guests, and I really did not want to only speak with Germans. So like I love my Germans, I love the people here, but it's a very small bubble, like a very specific group. And if you can mix in Indians, Africans, Americans, USA people, like all of them, it's a lot better. But I only did that because there's a lot of great content creators in German. We have an amazing podcast here in Austria with Nico Yill. He makes awesome videos. And also to your point, we have the blog trainer here in Germany, and he, I think, exceeded already the 200,000 subscribers, and he's German only. He's huge. Like he does live streams every second or third day, and they live stream like when he's live, it gets like 30,000-40,000 people, and I'm like, oh shit! Like there is not. Like, I think he could be the biggest channel, maybe, especially when it comes to live, because I don't know another Bitcoin only guy that has that kind of numbers when he goes live. Even BTC Sessions, when he goes live on Friday, I think not even him, he goes, gets that live views. I haven't checked honestly, but the last time I was on, I think this didn't get so many views. So there are really strong creators that the English-speaking community has no clue about. And it's, I think, a good thing. And I also think that it really doesn't matter long-term, because in 5-10 years, whatever the time frame is, I don't know, everything will be translated in every language.
Yeah, language barrier go away. I agree.
It will completely, just pick the language you would like to speak, because in 5 years, it won't matter at all.
I agree. But I think like 5-year time frame is realistic, but still we should do a little bit more in those 5 years. Really, I think local language. So for example, if I were you, right, having global brand and doing stuff in English is great because it gives you even like the credibility and authority. But then exactly going to the local meetups, going to the local conferences, or doing a book or in German language, right? It's like pairing the like global English brand with then like so for example, I just came from a local Czech Bitcoin conference this weekend where I was giving away my book, right? So it's like a pairing the English and the local. So I think that's important, like still like focusing on the local adoption, but
but I feel like German might be a weird exception because there's so many great creators. We have so many podcasts with so many creators, and I was looking at that, and I literally was thinking through it. I was like, there is not a hole to fill. Like if there wasn't a good podcaster already, I would have filled that hole in German, which is way better. It's also like a weird conversation, but monetizing is so much better if you have a clear audience and if you have only German, because then you like can go with the German brands. If you're just like global, like it might sound good, but it's actually shitty to monetize, way shittier than if you're like more niche and go to the thing. And so I do encourage people that live in areas where the language isn't as strong. I heard, for example, in Hungary, there's not as much content in Hungary for people to consume. Like, if you speak Hungary and you want to start something, like, just do that. Like go and fill that hole in your local language. And there's probably like a bunch of languages that don't have a lot of good Bitcoin content, and you can just start doing that. Like you will fill a hole that is very much needed because people want to consume things in their local language. And obviously there's no hole in the English language. I think
but the market is so big. Like there's always always a room to do it a little bit different, you know? Yeah, I agree.
100%. But the initial question I was getting towards was your experience when you are in Europe, but you also currently toured a long time now in the States. What's the difference kind of there, what you're feeling, and also like how different it is? Because in Europe, I mean, there is the central banker in Czech, I think, that talks about Bitcoin.
It's just not drop it. It's just getting extra points. Dude, there is an election for parliament next week. That dude wants to be Minister of Finance. That's all the PR he's doing. It's all BS. Like, don't trust politics. They all suck. Literally. Anyway, like that's why we have Bitcoin. So no, I don't want to talk about that. No, he's just getting PR points to be a Minister of Finance so he can get a lot. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about something more important than central bankers. No, that's a hard no for me.
Love that. I told you before, I think it will be a lot of fun with you, and it definitely is. But my point was like, you sometimes have that feeling that in Europe, it's only grassroots and like the politician level really doesn't get Bitcoin. And then like in America, we slowly start seeing like the political discourse, at least discussing Bitcoin. We can debate of like how good of a quality they're discussing Bitcoin, but at least it's a topic. That the president goes to Bitcoin conference, that alone, I think it's like huge of the symbolic. No, but then there's a grassroots level where I feel like if you go to a Bitcoin meetup in Vienna or in some city in Austria, Germany, like there's such a strong Bitcoin community, and there's a disconnect from grassroots versus like the political level versus America. It seems to be like more connected.
So my perception will be a little bit different because all I do is like focus on mining in the US. So here there's no mining, but there's like extremely big grassroots community, right? So it's really for me to go and nerd out about Bitcoin on Thursday evening. It's like it's so easy, really. Like a few dozens of Bitcoiners meet like all around, right? So and you can pay Bitcoin in most of the restaurants in Prague also with Lightning. So it's like, for me, I'm used to it. It's normal, right? So then going to US is a little bit different because yes, I would, but again, it's way bigger market, way more spread out. So it's so different. So it's really difficult to compare those two. And also what I focus on, I'm like 100% in Bitcoin mining, right? So that's all I focus on. So me in the US, I was traveling there for 6 months and basically like visiting all the Bitcoin mining. So it wasn't Bitcoin meetups mostly. It was Bitcoin, or focusing on Bitcoin mining, and also all the miners. So there, what I really miss here, because like Bitcoin mining, we call it like the beating heart of Bitcoin. It's like such a important integral part, right? But here we don't see it. Like European Union is so slow and bureaucratic. Like there are so amazing use cases, the heat reuse, the like balancing of the like when you fly to UK, you see actually the turned off wind turbines in the sea, because they don't have buyer of last resort. It's like it's bizarre. It's literally, you can sell it to Bitcoin miners and make more money, and you can make more money so you can build more energy generation. It's like, it's insane, right? But we have European Union, so that's, for me, I have no idea how to solve it. So for me, I take the road, I need to educate as many people as possible, so that long term, I hope something will fix. That is a very different case in the US. Like I was traveling mostly across Texas, like, like gut feeling, 30% of global hash rate is in Texas. Gut feeling, don't quote me on it. There are no specific data, but just like talking with the miners, seeing, I think it's safe to bet 1/3. Okay. Yeah. One third of the global hash rate is in Texas. So from that and you can really see it from the super small guys, to like one container, two containers, to like giant 100 megawatts publicly traded miners, and everything in between. And from that and you can really see, and like they're the real like digital cowboys, like they got the oil filled gas generators, and they're mining off grid, and they're like, fuck the states, and they got the guns, and they're like, hey, come at me, bro, if you want to take my Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners. Like that level, I have to, like, it's just magnificent that in Texas. So we have a lot of grassroots education and community here in Prague and here in Europe, but I'm really, really missing that mining part. And it's like that, I have to give them, like, for that, it's genius. Like Texas, it's pure bliss, man.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of mining. I mean, in general, there's a lot of mining in the States versus the rest of the world. It's under 50% what I see, but it is a lot of mining that goes on in the States. Is the main challenge in Europe just like regulations and the European Union don't liking it?
Yeah, it is. Of course, like, you're gonna have markets where it's not gonna be profitable at all, and it's fine. Like, again, I say Bitcoin mining is there. Bitcoin mining makes sense in certain places in certain times. It's not. It was never meant to be done everywhere by everybody. No, it's not the point at all. The incentives are aligned correctly. So, I think you'll never see Bitcoin mining here in Czech Republic. There's just no way. Yeah, they're like extreme. Anyway, let's forget about the edge cases. But generally speaking, and we don't want that. Like we have the other buyers who will always buy a higher price. It's absolutely fine. But there's, for example, like, again, I said the wind farms alongside the coast in UK. I was googling it. Okay, I don't Google anymore, but I still use the word googling. But I think 40, like, it's up to 40% is unused because they don't have the buyer of last resort. So for that, like, there's no excuse not to sell. Like, either you have zero or you have at least something. At least something gives you better, so you can finance the whole operations faster, you can pay for it, you can expand faster, you can build the renewables more. And we know if you want to have more renewables in your mix, you need to overbuild, right? Because sometimes it doesn't blow, sometimes it doesn't shine, so it's fine. So you have to overbuild. So tell me argument for not having the revenues bigger so you can finance and build out faster. There's like zero argument. So that's that. Also, they have a lot of hydro, untapped hydro, or overproducing hydro in like Nordics. It's like there's no way, there's no real good argument. Like, that's cleanest energy as it gets, and nobody wants it. Like, you're not boiling the ocean, you're not killing the baby seals. It's like literally the cleanest energy on the planet that nobody wants, and you can be making a lot of money. And then with that money, you can do stuff. I don't know, build roads, fly people to Mars. I don't know, do some cool stuff. But capital is nice. I want to be building more energy generation, mining with it, profiting, and then building cool stuff. So really, Europe is slow, man. Like, we too much bureaucracy, too many rules. Like, I want to stay hopeful. I love it here, man. Like, I love Prague, really, honestly. but it doesn't look good. Like we just know how to regulate. Like like we excel at regulating. We're so good that all the rest of the world is looking at us like, how the fuck did they regulate so well, man? It's like, really, it's terrible, man. So yeah, it's regulations.
And I love that. I think I have to clip that because it's it's so great because I mean there are some good parts in Europe. Like I love the food here. I love like the living standards here and all that, all the rest of it. But when it comes to like business and when it comes to like building outfits and innovating, it's so hard here. And then there's also the incentives of if someone has a great idea, the incentivized actually leave Europe. It's like the capital markets and somewhere else, the talent is somewhere else, and they can just avoid the bureaucracy and the regulations here. So even if there's great things happening in Europe, they're like, oh yeah, like I'll build it, but I won't the hell build it here. And I think that's a huge problem also.
Agree, and then it all comes to capital, right? So why, if you have a great idea, you're going to the US to access the US market capital and to build faster and bigger. So it's just like us not being more open and more capitalistic. It chokes us really long term. It just literally chokes us. So anyway, so I approach it. The only thing I can do is educate more about Bitcoin. So you have a podcast. I try to work on Bitcoin books, and that's the only thing that we can do. I hope we can turn it around because again, same as you, I fucking love it here, man. Like the last, it's amazing. The culture is amazing. The food. Go to Prague. Like it's like the food on every single corner is amazing. So it's so. I really hope. I want to stay optimistic, man.
Me too. Where do you in general see Bitcoin mining developing? We have now more and more solo miners going on. I think I actually saw you posting about this new block thing from Jack Dorsey, the mining thing. Full disclosure, I have no clue like about all that. But where do you see, because I see some people commenting as like, yeah, Bitcoin mining will be integrated in like heaters and like all the different devices and will make sense economically. I'm not so sure about that just because like I have no clue about it. But I think it would be a great idea to decentralize it. Like if we have like a big network with a lot of small actors, the same way as like with full node operators and all of that. But in general, I see more and more of trend that big publicly traded companies mine Bitcoin, big companies kind of like do that. Where do you see like Bitcoin down the road being mined and also the decentralization of it?
I'll start shilling our books. Of course, I'll start with my book because yes, by the way, it's not a commercial break. All of them are for free download. And we'll be publishing all of them in audiobooks for free on YouTube and Spotify. So, and if you want to buy physical books, or you can all, of course, on Amazon. So I just published it last week, and exactly the last chapter is how I see the future. And then another book that I want to show is definitely the Bitcoin mining heat reuse. So Tyler Stevens, he's an ex-rocket engineer that is interested in Bitcoin mining. So like you don't have any better story than this. And again, free to download. So if I have to like summarize, it's of course it's crystal ball telling, but I'll tell you like gut feeling about the trends. Bitcoin mining heat reuse is going to be definitely a thing. I am unsure to what extent it will be in residential, like people buying a heater that is sitting in a living room, and to what extent it will be industrial. If I have to bet, I'm betting on the industrial having like vast majority of the pie of the Bitcoin mining heat reuse hash rate. Because yes, the home heaters are nice, but there's a giant hurdle of education. Like you even see some of the companies and they say they drop the Bitcoin narrative completely and they just say, hey, it's going to be cheaper for you. And I think that's by the way you will sell heaters to people like me. There are not so many people, and of course like we're growing in numbers, but I think the pitch should be, here is reliable heat that will cost less. And I think really people should be marketing in a way less as a Bitcoin mining heater, because no, don't give me your funny internet money and all those scams and maybe some token. No, it's a reliable, cheaper source of heat. And I think that's way easier. And then the the people like running the heaters or like servicing them can earn, and that can incentivize. Imagine you're a space heater company and you're building subscription model with recurring revenue. That's fucking amazing. Like people should be like building those, like that. No heater on a planet has that. Like you can build an insanely amazing, like sexy business. Like you're selling heaters and you have recurring revenue. Like that's hot. That's very hot capitalistic project. But if I have to bet, it's going to be on the industrial, because really highly recommended this book. We use heat for so many things. Like I don't read the book, but like making beer, making whiskey, like in some part of the process, you're heating up from boiling or to just heating up like or in cooking like bread and things like that. I'm not saying baking, but like just the yeast, it like grows in like, for example, 40 Celsius, right? A little bit more than room temperature. You're using heat and normal electric heaters for that. Like long term, again, I heard in this book a lot of the great stories, doing the industrial, like changing the industrial heating system from agriculture to all different industrial use cases. I think they have some from Finland. And again, they do it the same way. They don't tell you okay, change your boilers, industrial boilers for this Bitcoin mining machine. They say, you know what? It's time for you to change it after 20 years. You have to, like, it's literally, this machine is that. So if you want to continue, you have to buy a new one. I got a cheaper one that you will operate for cheaper. I think that's the way forward. So yes, I really believe in Bitcoin mining heat reuse, but there are a few buts. It's not going to be done everywhere. I think it's going to be, for example, mostly Europe. If I have to bet it, it's Europe. It's really great place in Europe with expensive prices, with a lot of bureaucracy on the mining side. Also, the other but is it will be way more industrial than residential. And the last but is it will not be dominant force of hash rate. I don't believe so. Of course, the author does, because really it's amazing how much global energy we use for heat. Don't quote me on it, but it's insane. It's like 1/3, 2/3 of all energy goes to like heating stuff, heating us, our living rooms, or food and stuff. So it's a giant pie to take from. Like he said, if just like 2% of global heating goes to hash rate, like we doubled the global hash rate. So like there's giant potential. Like it's all in the book. Download it for free, guys. It's and follow Tyler Stevens on Twitter. He keeps saying those stats. But I'm a little bit more skeptical. I see that it's a long road. We can get there, but it's not gonna happen in 3 years, 5 years. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20. So it's gonna be there. It's gonna be growing, but I think it's gonna be slower. Then we have the debate between home mining, lotto mining versus the industrial scale. If I have to bet, and again, anything can happen. One of the theories is, for the big popcos, big publicly traded miner is going to die in 5-10 years. Don't quote me on the number. Doesn't matter. 5, 10, 15. And it's going to go all back to like home miners doing lottery mining and things like that. Could happen. I don't think it's that probable. If I have to bet, the giant publicly mining companies going to like merge and integrate with energy stack. And I really hope, and I really, really hope that it's going to be us buying the energy generation and not the other way around. Like, Bitcoiners, again, like overtaking the world. Like really like us, like the big publicly traded, and we already see it. They buy more energy generation, like straight from the source. And I hope it will continue. We see more and more. So we have one of our software products is Brains Manager. It's for you to manage your whole like mining fleet, right? Remotely or on the spot, doesn't matter. And we see, that's been done. It's easy. Like you manage your software, like you manage your data center. But where we see the future, it's tight integration with the energy markets. So I really think all the big players or the industrial players, it will naturally merge because you can do the curtailment. You can do, as I said, like 40% of the wind turbines in UK and the offshore are idle. So I think it will naturally merge. So I think the bigger guys will get even bigger. They will not die. I really doubt it. I think that probability is very, very low. And there will more and more merge with the energy sector. Either energy sector buying them or then buying more energy generation. And it will not be just, oh, I'm a Bitcoin miner. It's going to be vertically integrated. Like, you generate your energy, you sell the heat, you mine Bitcoin, you diversify a little bit to AI, then you package it in all different like financial products and do like the fiat karate, like Sailor and craziness. And that's going to be it. And I think that's going to be growing. It's not going to die. And it's going to be vast majority of the network. I really like, even now, hey, 6 years ago when I was starting, 7 years ago, it was mostly plebs. Like, we didn't have the giant fiat miners, Popcos. We didn't have that. And then we saw the giant race. I don't think it's a problem. I want more hash rate. I want more publicly traded companies buying generation, integrating with energy, helping curtailment, helping stabilizing the energy grids. I think it's the future. So really, it's gonna, like, we're heading Zeta hash tomorrow. I think we're gonna head second Zeta hash in the next, I don't know, before the next halving maybe, or like a halving, 1.5 halvings away. And it's going to be driven by these guys. So yeah, institutional, energy-driven hash rate is going to be the king. And yeah, the last one is the Lotto Solo mining. It's nice, but it's never going to, if I have to bet, it's never going to be more than 5% of the global hash rate in the next 5 years. I wish it would be. I'm adding my bet access also, guys. Don't go against me. I'm doing my part. But I want to stay realistic.
Yeah, there needs to be a major financial incentive for people to adopt it in such a big way that it can contribute in a major way towards Bitcoin mining. Like, and I don't see it currently. Like, I don't see that financial incentive. But yeah, maybe there are some interesting developers.
But so we created our Brains mini miner last year. So we launched it. So we have like a BitX competitor, BMM 101. So we launched it on last year on BTC Prague, and that was really the beginnings of the mini mining. So BitXs were just starting. In that year, we saw giant growth, like of selling our products, but also we spoke with many of the manufacturers of BitXs. So yes, in the last year and a half, the boom of like mini solo lotto mining machines is giant. Really, it blew our mind. We're talking about maybe tens of thousands mini miners sold monthly now globally, which is amazing. Like, literally a year ago, this market didn't exist, or a year and a half ago. But again, we have a long way to go, and I don't want it to be fad, because that is also a risk. Right now it's cool. Buy a small mini miner for $100. Yeah, nice. Is it long term sustainable? I don't know. I wish. Again, I'm one of the supporters, guys. So don't lynch me. But again, are we gonna hit 10% of the global hash rate? I don't think so. I wish.
What's the economics of those devices? Like, is it a financial, like, good decision to deal with them, or is it more of like this lottery mining that you buy it and you might have a chance to hit a big block?
That's exactly that. But if you, so it's lottery. It's like, do you know the scratching card, the lottery scratch cards? It's that, but then it's really nice. Like, listen to the story, right? So you have two choices. You can go and buy a lottery ticket or the scratch card, right? You have to go somewhere. You're financing like a giant gambling corporations. Like, the whole thing sucks. Here, you buy a machine for $100, you plug it in, and it's automatic lottery every 10 minutes. So you don't have to do anything. It submits the ticket every single second, with a possibility of winning every 10 minutes. If you combine the yearly probability of you winning with like one BitX Gamma, like 1 terahash, or one Brains mini miner 1 terahash, compared to like a Powerball, the biggest lottery in the US, you're like 100 times more likely to win the block. So it's like, hey, if you give me 100 times bigger chance, it's automatic, and you spend $100 in the beginning of the year, and the total electricity cost for a month is like $4, and you have a very, very good consciousness because like you're supporting Bitcoin. It's a great story. So I think that's why people go crazy for it. I'm stacking hash rate myself. I've got like 5 mini miners sitting on my office desk. I was like, I'm similar crazy, but so yeah, that's it. It's a lottery mining with better odds, automatic thing, and with a good consciousness, and also really, it's a great education. Like, you're touching all the software that runs the biggest farms on the planet. Like, dude, like, show me, like, you can literally buy Brains mini miner for like $250, and it runs the firmware that runs like gigawatts of machines for publicly traded companies. And of course, like, you're not gonna, but you can literally use the dynamic performance scaling. You can overclock, underclock. You can literally learn in a week all the software, because you can connect it to the pool, you can connect it to the management software. In a week, you can literally hands-on touch every single feature that you can use on the largest mining farm on the planet. It's the best way to get a job in Bitcoin mining, literally. That's number one for me, like the educational part. It's like, literally, you can be a mining ops technician in a week. It's awesome.
I finally and officially mine Bitcoin. This is not just something to stack more Satoshis, but it's most importantly also to support the network. Individual miners are the ones that keep the Bitcoin network decentralized. And by the way, you get KYC free Bitcoin. That's why I use simplemining. I get an actual proper Bitcoin miner. They set it up for me. They repair it if it breaks down. And most importantly, they let me choose the pool and even connect my own full node. I'm completely sovereign and I'm completely in control, and I can sign up with Ocean, no account needed. I just give them a Bitcoin address and then there's mining going on. No KYC, nothing. So if you're ready to mine Bitcoin, go to simplemining.io, tell them you come from Robin, and let's mine Bitcoin together. I want to tell you about something very special to me. It's called Microseed. If you hold your Bitcoin in self-custody, and you should, you know how critical it is to secure your seed phrase. You should not have them on paper. You should not have them on anything else than titanium. With Microseed, you can engrave your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, the entire seed phrase, onto a 1-inch small washer. Yes, just one washer. All 24 words on that one washer. You can hide that thing everywhere. And even better, you don't need to buy a new kit every time you have to get a new wallet. You can make unlimited backups, because Microseed is not selling the washer. Microseed is selling the device that stamps the washer. So you get the full kit with the device, with the washers, with the hammer, with everything you need to get started today. And you can make with that unlimited amount of backups. Go now to microseed.io. Again, that's microseed.io to get your last backup tool you ever need. The most important thing for your Bitcoin journey is not buying Bitcoin, but it's how to keep them. And yes, you have maybe the right tools, but how do you actually go ahead and stick it all together so it's the most secure for you personally? Self-custody is a deeply personalized journey, and the Bitcoin way is helping you exactly finding that correct setup for you personally. They are also helping you with securing your own cybersecurity. And if you want to go one step above all that, you can even get a consultation for a Plan B residency. Go to thebitcoinway.com/Robin and you will get a 30-minute free consultation. The gambling aspect I find particularly interesting, because there are so many people that just have the habit of buying the lottery ticket because they gave up on the money, they gave up on the dream, and they winning the lottery with like a few millions in there, or sometimes even less than that. This is the last like hope thing. That's like, I have that one lottery thing. I bought it for like €1 or 50 cents. And this is the last hope, kind of, because they gave up on life. And having that in Bitcoin is like, I mean, $100, $200 is a lot more than just like buying like a €1 ticket, even though it's probably more expensive over a lifetime, a lot more, because if you buy it every week, and we know like most of those gamblers actually buy it every week, and they're like always, like this. And I don't know how, but we should definitely target that market of gamblers and sell them solo miners and educate them with Bitcoin. I think it is a great cause, and as you said, the education piece is just awesome. But I love the how should I say it? The good gambling, the
exactly.
positive gambling.
With the clear consciousness. I agree. It's the only one that you have actually with clear, like good conscious, you know. Oh, so it's pretty cool.
How do you look? You kind of touched on it, and it's really interesting. The energy generators and Bitcoin mining, because I had that thought also in my God bless you, man. I had or how we say in German Gesundheit. I had that thought in my mind with energy generators and miners, because I see the energy generators not being that open to Bitcoin mining. And then I was like, okay, but the Bitcoin miners know the economics behind it, and they will make a shit ton of money. And so they will naturally just get into energy generating also themselves. So if we have the energy generators kind of like missing the boat, maybe on Bitcoin, and then we have the Bitcoin miners that get it, we might look at a future where the biggest Bitcoin miners now will be the Bitcoiners, will be the biggest energy generators in like 10, 20, 50 years from now. And this is just fascinating to think about what happens if energy, which is like super important in the world, is all controlled by Bitcoin miners, or like by Bitcoiners. And I don't know, maybe it's just a wet dream of mine, but it is. I see that kind of development towards Bitcoin miners getting into energy generating, and then kind of overtaking them long term, or like the few energy generators that still are around, they also like, oh shit, like we have to do this Bitcoin mining thing. It's like an economically idea that we have to do. It's not an optional thing. Like like we have excess energy, like let's plug a Bitcoin mining in there. If we don't do it, other ones do it, and they're more profitable and can give better rates to their customers.
So we already see that really the big players are acquiring energy generation. Like that was unthinkable like 5 years ago. Like there was zero stories, and they're doing it more and more. So I'm very happy to see that, really, because also they're like not dependent on anybody, right? Like the Bitcoin is again like becoming more resilient, more anti-fragile. So I love every single thing about it, and I think what really, really will help is like the making Bitcoin like not the garage times anymore. Really, like having ETFs, having big banks entering. So of course, there's many things I don't like about it. Okay, me as a Bitcoiner, like we always wanted the institutions comes and like careful what you wish for, it might happen. But anyway, on the other hand, it creates it makes it very legit. Like really, like there's very difficult to argue right now. It's used by terrorists and it's not legit, So I think it's a big signal for the boomers sitting on the board of directors of all those energy companies and saying, of course it will take time. They will not wake up. Oh, we have ETFs. Oh, Bitcoin is legit. Oh, let's use HODLing. But it opens the doors. Like really coming into those people and talking to them 2 years ago, like you're a fucking freak, man. Like get out of it. Like what Bitcoin mining, fun internet money, and you're mining it with computers. What's wrong with you? Get a job, get a life. But now it's like it's very difficult to argue against it. You have ETFs, you have the government in the US being pro Bitcoin, pro crypto. So it's like I think that will help a lot, really. Of course, there are many aspects I don't like about this. I wish the legitimacy would come from the grassroots, but anyway, it will not kill Bitcoin, so it's all fine.
Yeah, we always had those game theory aspects and saying like, oh, like companies will buy it and nation states will be interested in it. And now that it happens, it's like, oh, like that's not good. It's kind of
careful what you wish for. It might happen. Yeah.
And also with Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin in general, I always have the quote in my mind. We underestimate how big it will be, but we overestimate how fast it will happen. And this is what I tell everyone with Bitcoin, that they are already saying like, oh, Bitcoin, like it won't be that big, like it has limited growth. But then at the same time, the people that say like, oh, it will be huge, they overestimate like how fast this actually will happen. So I think it will take a very long time. Also the same thing with Bitcoin mining. Those things move slowly. Like there needs to be a snowball that slowly gets rolling, and has to be added on. Like there's like physicalities that like we cannot ignore. Like there's like real physical things that we have to move there. And so I hope you agree with that. That Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin in general, like we all underestimate how huge this will be, but we also overestimate how quick this whole development will happen.
I agree, 100%. But hey, we can help it out. We can move it a little bit faster.
Hopefully, like
I'm
I
very
try every day.
optimistic generally. I agree. Yeah, me too. Really, like I 100% agree. But I'm very optimistic. Yeah.
How do you actually look at the future of Bitcoin? We talk a lot about Bitcoin mining, and I want to touch later on also on solo miners and things a little bit more. But we haven't really like touched on Bitcoin in general for you. How do you look at the developments that have happened in the past few years, and how do you see it happening in the next few years or decades?
Yeah, I like I'm not a big fan of the Treasury and Seyr effect, to be honest. Like um I'm a big not your keys, not your coins, and I really like going on boats and doing boating accidents and things like that. So from that and I know we're very, it's like, for example, very big in this community, but like talking non-KYC, for example, in the US, where I was in China and places like that, it's not even a topic. Like people have no idea. Like I mentioned non-KYC on several of the meetups in the US, and they're like, what are you talking about? So it was a little bit surprising for me, because like here we were like, we're in non-KYC maxes here. And it's like I felt like, what, I'm a terrorist or I'm a weird guy now, or like what happened? I'm really not a fan of Seyr, and increasingly more, by the way. It will not kill Bitcoin. I'm not here talking about any conspirational theory, but I'm not a fan of it. And I sort of think about how quickly we got here, and I don't know. I don't want to clap anymore every single Monday where he buys more and concentrates the power, and you know what? Honestly, all the nice stories of I'll give it all up, and I don't buy that story. It feels fake, man. Like again, a little bit maybe conspiratorial theories, but why not? Hey, man. Um, uh, if I don't buy the story. Like everything is story. I'm a marketing guy, and the dude who was a billionaire already, and he says, "Hey, let me buy more Bitcoin, and I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, I don't support any development." I understand that the ossification, he doesn't want new features on Bitcoin, but give me one good reason. Give me one good reason not to give grants to open source developers on mining. There's literally zero consensus changes, and you can make Bitcoin a little bit more resilient by Stratum V2 adoption, or like strengthening mining rules. There's zero consensus changes. There's zero new features. Like there's zero argument not to give a grant to Stratum V2 developers. I don't see it. I don't understand it. So that story seems fake. So we have an old boomer who keeps buying Bitcoin and says what I personally don't like: never fucking use it as medium of exchange. It's like, who the fuck are you? It's like, dude, like Bitcoin's supposed to be money, like the best money we ever invented. How come all of a sudden our biggest hero is an old boomer who just says buy, never sell? It's like, hey, he done a lot for the community. So like, I don't want to say he's evil and he's gonna kill Bitcoin and no, like he helped a lot and he has his part of it. But like, why we continue like so much supporting it and praising it, go like that, it really actively bothers my mind in the past 4 months. And I give kudos to Mike Bernstein. He like started nudging me and like a few months ago and saying, hey, all these things. I'm like, you know what, you're right. Like why do I really celebrate old boomer buying Bitcoin, hoarding Bitcoin, that never wants to use it even for Stratum V2 grants, and just saying buy and never use it as medium of exchange, I don't like the story. So like it goes back to how I see Bitcoin future. I want to see more medium of exchange and self-custody. I know it's not going to be dominant. I know it's difficult, but we shouldn't like abandon it. Like I think vast majority will have it in banks as a form of saving. But like losing that narrative completely, I think is very dangerous. Like just use it as a store of value. Like you'll make I don't know, the fiat currency that has all the bank accounts with Bitcoin behind it like stronger, and again confiscation of Bitcoin all over again. I don't know, I don't want to paint like terrible apocalyptic scenarios, but anyway, I know that vast majority will be KYC and custodial, but I think keeping the narrative of non-custodial, maybe non-KYC, not your keys, not your coins. I think use it as money. Go spend it. Go do some cool stuff. Build, spend, collateralize. Do all that. Don't just sit on it as a boomer with a plan to die with it. Dude, like there are more cool things in life to do than dying with Bitcoin. No, like what the fuck is that story? Like I don't know. So anyway, I got railed up a little bit. So.
I love it.
A little bit, just a little bit.
I love it, man. I mean, to be fair, he has a lot of nice things, so he definitely spends money. I've been to his house and he has chairs.
Good point. Yeah, at least he should collateralize the Bitcoin, but he does it in a way. Anyway, so that was my rant.
How do you look at Bitcoin Treasury?
That's a nice flex, by the way. I was in his house. Nice. I look at your journey, right? You started when did you start? Like 2 years ago in the community, year and a half?
I did not start a long time ago. I mean, it depends on where you draw the line in starting. I made my first small Bitcoin video in 2020, but this was in German, and I think
doing this podcast. When did you start doing this?
This podcast is not even 2 years old.
Wow!
So
I was hanging out in the cellar. Congrats! No, you're doing a great job. So it's deserved. It's deserved.
This was not the purpose of that, but yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The point I was trying to make is okay, let's go back just for a minute on Seyr, because I do think it's important. Because a lot of people, and I see it also, where they try to take the Seyr, what should I say? The Seyr strategy and apply it to their own personal lives. And I always say what he does with strategy, you cannot do as an individual. And they sometimes want to do it. And they're also oh, don't sell it. He made money in his life, and a lot of money even before Bitcoin, and he used that money. He has boats, he has things. I'm not an expert on his private life at all. I don't know a lot of things, but I saw his house, and it's a fucking museum. It looks very nice, and so to have that story of don't sell your he does spend money. I have no clue how much and what he spends on. I know that there's documentation on his private lives. I've really never watched any of those. I'm not that interested in it. But I do agree. He's a very disciplined person also. But my overall point is we have money and we should use it as such. We should spend it. And I had such a fear of spending my money up until what is it, 5 months, 6 months now, something like that, beginning of the year. Because I started earning in Bitcoin directly. And so actually most of my income now is directly in Bitcoin. And at some point I was at the point where I was oh, I don't have fiat to pay my fiat bills. So what do? Do I get a loan, get a debt, get something collateralized? What should I do? And then I was I don't want to play this fiat games. I don't want to even if it's peer-to-peer and collateralized debt, I don't want to have that at all. Like, I don't want to owe anyone anything. I just want to have my money, and I have a little bit more money coming in than going out, and that money I can save, and the other one I just spend. And so I started spending Bitcoin, and now I pay my freelancers in Bitcoin. I pay people in Bitcoin whenever I can. And now a bigger and bigger portion of my money comes into a wallet of a Bitcoin wallet and goes out in a Bitcoin wallet, and it never touches my bank account. And I absolutely love it. And also on the point of like, the older generation probably won't be living on a Bitcoin standard, but the new generation born in 2025 is called Generation Beta. And I would like to rename that in Generation B, Generation Bitcoin. Because if you think about someone be born in 2025, when they will be earning their first money, let's say with 20 years old, in 20 years, I'm pretty sure if I'm already spending Bitcoin, I'm already using Bitcoin as a money, mostly actually, in 20 years, we will have a huge development. Like, Bitcoin is not even 20 years old. And now, like, think about what can happen in the next 20 years. And so I like to focus on that. But I do have a lot of I don't think Seyr is a bad actor. But I think he's just, and maybe I'm biased, but I think he's a well-intentioned guy that acts out of his own personal framework. When you look at what he did all his life, it really nicely fits into what he does with Bitcoin. And I think we should have many competing narratives. And this never sell your Bitcoin is a narrative that I hate. You should spend your Bitcoin. But hey, if it helps newbies to stack more Bitcoin and get a more aggressive stack in Bitcoin, maybe that's some value to there. But I honestly love that there are a lot of competing theories and narratives in Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know if I know that you have observed this definitely, the Bitcoin Nords versus core thing, where I'm saying, no matter on what side you're on, it's a net benefit that people are aware that you can not only run core, you can also run something else. So this in general, I think is a positive thing. It drives people towards hey, I made now 2 episodes on this topic, and every time when I posted, I asked also the community on YouTube, hey, what do you run? What will you run? Bitcoin V30, Bitcoin Core, but not V30, or Bitcoin Nodes? And I always have people like, huh? What is that? And I'm like, every time I post this, someone sees it and then probably Googles it or ChatGPTs it, whatever the new term for looking up stuff is. And so I think we should really focus on pushing good narratives. And if everyone does that in this decentralized weird way where there's no boss, and also Seyr has absolute no boss figure, a lot of people have competing narratives. But yeah, this is my main thing of let's push the good narratives that you use Bitcoin as money and in self-custody also. Also, one other thing, it would be fun to talk with you about it. Sorry for my very long rant. I ask my community very often, do you do self-custody? Are you trying self-custody? And it's always the same thing, 40-50% do it, the rest not. And I'm all my partners, literally all my partners except Coin Vigilante are all about self-custody. Microseed for stamping, the Bitcoin Way for the providing service, all of them. Simplemining also now, it's a new partner. That's not about self-custody, but it goes into self-custody Bitcoin. But yeah, the overall point is I'm promoting so much self-custody. I'm always talking about self-custody, but still 50% of my audience is I don't care about that. I'm oh,
but they can get there. They can get there. It's a journey, man. It's I know it's not easy. Self-custody is not easy, and you doubt yourself, and it's a little bit more complicated, and you have to really, and you doubt yourself. What if I fuck up? Really, it's about money. So I get it, but we should strive for it. So kudos, man. I think self-custody is really important.
Yeah. And that might be actually something interesting to talk about. Like, I don't know about you, but I still to this day, like I've improved, like I hold Bitcoin since now over 5 years. And I improved almost every single year, sometimes even multiple times a year, my self-custody setup, because I have self-custody actually since day one, because I listened to to good people like early on in the story. And for a long time it sucked, and I kept improving. I kept like iterating of like, okay, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Oh, I need this, I need this, I need this. But still to this day, even though I've interviewed over 600 different people, even though I talked with every like expert on self-custody in Bitcoin, still to this day, I have thoughts in my head of like, wait, did I think about that?
I agree.
Wait,
I have the same.
What if this happens?
Yeah.
So just as a message for people out there, like it's normal to do that. Like with great power comes great responsibility, and this responsibility can drag on you.
I agree. It's it is nerve-wracking how you're never gonna lose it. The better setup you can create, the more backups you can create, the better tools you use, you'll always have the feeling. So it's legit. It comes with it. So I would recommend using more setups, using splitting it, and really, if you have more and more money, look into things like on-ramp. I think that is really, really, really interesting what on-ramp are doing, for example. So it's like it's multi-sig, and each key is held by different institution in different geographic jurisdiction. So things like, so the more money you have to lose, I still say don't have it in exchange, but like think about it, have 1/3 in like a very good or your own setup, have 1/3 with Unchained Capital, 1/3 with on-ramp, things like that. Like you should, the more you have, the more things you should think about it. But really, there are so many cool tools, so many services these days. It's amazing. It's way different time.
We first covered a little bit of Seyr, but I think it's also really interesting what happens with treasury companies. And I think you said that you're not a fan of it. How do you look at treasury companies?
Last thing about Seyr. Let's close the Seyr. I wouldn't bet on him being a bad actor. That was not supposed to be my key message. But I think, and yeah, you can argue that, you can always argue pro, and like you cannot just say yes, his narrative is like pure evil or really bad. So I get that point. The bot is the story of I just stack so I'll die with it. I think it doesn't work as a story. It's BS. People don't think this way. Nobody accepts it. I'm a marketing guy. Everything is about story. Just buying more so you can die with it. It's a weird story, man. Like I get it, you don't have kids, you don't have a wife, but like it's just weird story. It just doesn't stick. And then I say, okay, he's not a malicious actor or a bad actor. So I say, do more. Like, I don't know what, but like, think about it. Microseed, they hired a Bitcoin ambassador as a role. They had 0 Bitcoin people as a Bitcoin ambassador as a role, 4 months ago? And they're doing meetups and they're like educating, like, I don't know what. I'm not saying, okay, go and fund core developers. I understand that. But like, there is a way you can do more. I will not accept, yeah, you can argue, but he goes and promotes. I want more. I'm going to be strict. I want more. I don't know what the more is. I just want more. Like, dude, I'm nobody from a small village. And like, I published 30,000 checkbox, like translation of like Bitcoin standard to check. Like, I'm doing my part. So I'm saying it from a position of I'm doing my part, and you have way more resources, way more means. So it's up to you to do more. And just going on podcasts and conferences and just saying buy and never sell, and I'm going to die with my stack is a weird story. I just don't like it. So yes, he's not a bad actor, but there's definitely things I don't like, and I want to be transparent and vocal about it.
I guess that's fair. But how do you think about the treasury companies? Because for me, it's a very like almost like a new department in Bitcoin growing. It's like very different people. I've interviewed a lot of it. It's like a very different feeling also. Mm-hmm. How do you look at treasury companies in general?
Necessary part of the growth. It's going to be, I agree. It's completely new universe. Like, different vibes, different story, different narratives, different people, very different. But it's fine. Like, it's never going to be my thing. I don't think there's like I don't know. There are people that say like more than half will die in the next bear market. I don't know. It's like I'm not that pessimistic about it. I don't overestimate the importance of it. I think it's a new segment in the market. It's fine. I don't like it in the way I would not buy into it. I never recommend it to any of my friends. So like I'm like I don't touch it with my own money or my thinking or my focus or my effort or my attention. I don't recommend it to my friends. I try to educate them about Bitcoin. But I mean, I would pinpoint like a bet for future of Bitcoin like in way better in different directions than this. Like I'm not too worried about it. I'll let them do what they want.
Yeah, it's the thing of Bitcoin is permissionless, and like everyone can do whatever they really want to do with Bitcoin, and you cannot stop them or like tell them anything. But it is interesting for me when we think about the Bitcoin treasury companies, because like I think there's a very important distinguishing that we have to do is like the first one is Bitcoin treasury companies that just buy Bitcoin with their profits. Like this is basically what I even do with my podcast. I wouldn't call myself a Bitcoin treasury company, but I do keep everything that I
smart
don't
money
need
management.
in Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly. But then there's all those fiat games and bonds and like I have no clue about that, but like all those things that are going on with that. And I wonder like how much space we have there. There's many that say like there's only a limited amount of space for how many companies they can actually do that. It reminds me more and more of this ICO boom, where all of a sudden like a lot of coins are launched, and now like a lot of like those treasury companies are getting launched. Like just from a vibe, it is similar for some reason, but
more people said that. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Yeah.
But I'm also hesitating of like comparing an actual publicly traded company with like a meme coin. Like there's like a huge difference there, but the vibe is weirdly close for some reason.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be more and more difficult. You know, you have the ETFs. You will have very soon, I think, really, like you will have the major banks just integrating Bitcoin through and through, really. So it's going to be, I think, more and more difficult. We'll see. I get the vibe that you're describing. I keep hearing that from left and right. So there has to be something about it, really. I will have one more shell here because I'm not a finance guy, but we have one more book. Like we have more books, but one more book I want to shell. It's Bitcoinization of Finance by Wyatt, great dude from Denver. Again, free download, guys. We're gonna have free audiobook. Of course, if you want to buy it and support what we do, you can on Amazon. But like he goes into all that. So I'm not a finance guy, so if you are interested in none of that, highly recommend this book.
Really, really awesome. I have one more question before we get to the end routine of the podcast. Man, the time flew by with you. I just saw that we're almost at the end. The halving and the impact, the economic impact of halving is super interesting for me. And more and more people, it was,
it's the worst.
It's the worst, the economic impact of halving.
Yeah. On miners, really. Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but it's brutal. It's like PTSD. You mentioned a halving, and all miners are like, "Oh my god, PTSD, man."
I get that, but I mean, I don't get that as close because I haven't run a miner when the halving was around. Let's see how this will be in the future. But the thing I was kind of wondering is and a lot of people actually, like, that's why I wonder about it, because I get more and more asked questions about that, is like, hey, like 2026 comes around, like it's supposed to be a down year, it's supposed to do this, like in the halving cycles, and I'm like, okay, the halving cycle, of course it has an impact, like it of course cuts down the thing, but in general, like it should have a less and less impact. And now also we have a lot of different actors in the space where we have all of a sudden companies buying, and like the thing that we just discussed. How do you look at the impact, maybe not for miners, but like in general of the economics of Bitcoin for the halving? And do you expect that weird cycle of 3 years up and 4 years down that kind of is randomly there? I still don't know like why it's even there. I heard explanations, but I cannot follow those explanations, that this will just continue.
Guys, if you're interested in the impacts of halving and like the cycles are very much about like Bitcoin price. That was happening in cycles a lot, but the impact on mining is way more brutal. So if you're interested, I just opened learn.brains.com, learn.brains with double I's.com. It's our data dashboard to show everything about mining. It's for free to use. So like hash rate, difficulty, next estimate, difficulty change, etc., etc. You scroll down and there are graphs, and then click to hash price. So hash price is the basic unit what you follow when you're in mining. It's 1 terahash, so one basic unit of your compute power of your mining, how much it makes dollars a day, right? Yeah, exactly this. So click to hash price. So hash price is the number one metric that you follow as a miner. This tells you every single day how much you're making. So it's how much 1 terahash. In this, I think we have it 1 petahash. It's the same thing. How much hash rate is making dollars a day, and then click all, and then you see it's brutal. So it's like we are on the all-time low of how much. So yes, Bitcoin price was always like rising and is rising right now, but the global hash rate is rising also. So people don't realize that it's counterintuitive. Yes, Bitcoin price is rising, but the total pie of like the pizza, the global hash rate is getting bigger, and you're getting a smaller chunk of it, like a smaller piece of the slice of the pizza. So last halving was insane because we were on all-time low hash price, and then we're still around that. So if you go, like put 1 year or 5 years, I don't know if we're all-time low or we're like 5% of the all-time low. Yeah, so we're going to be like marginally above all-time low, but still. So it's like we are living in the most brutal times for Bitcoin mining ever. Nobody understands it because they think, oh, we're over 100K. Oh, we have ETS. Oh, we have Trump saying Bitcoin nice. Look at hash price. Like Bitcoin miners don't care about anything else than hash price. It's how much money your terahash earns a day, dollars. And we're on all-time low, or like slightly above all-time low. So it's brutal. However, click to hash rate, it keeps booming. Like exactly. So it's like, it's absolutely counterintuitive because we honestly, or like my bet was, we will see up to 20% of network to turn off, shut down after halving. Like I was betting like 10, and I was like, it might go up to 20. It didn't happen. Like nothing happened. Like we keep booming. Like we're in a year of Zeta hash. We're gonna hit Zeta hash, like I don't know, tomorrow, next week, by the time the podcast is out. But at the same time, we're all time low. So that tells me it's mind blowing. It's like, it's so interesting to see. I think it's very, very big proof of we're all way long gone from the like garage eras and like the early days. Like it's big institutional money, big developments, long-term thinking. You have players that have treasury, they have Bitcoin, they're sitting on it for the bad times so they can cover the bear market and things like that. This is really cool. Like seeing this resilience in hash rate. Again, hash price is all-time low and hash rate keeps growing. It's amazing. It's wild times to be alive. So if you ask me about next halving, dude, I gave all my wrong tips to what's gonna happen this halving. Exactly. It's like, is how they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, because the least like the thing that you just don't expect will happen. And I love that about Bitcoin, because really we need to test, like we need to throw on Bitcoin everything, like, and it has to survive. And really in Bitcoin mining, just this year happened what didn't happen before. So we didn't see as steep price action up. We keep being around all-time low on the hash price. Hash rate keeps growing. So it's like it's all new territory for hash rate for Bitcoin mining. It blows my mind how this can be happening. And I think we'll see more crazy stuff. So I have no idea what the next halving is bringing, but it's going to be exciting. I'm not worried at all, really. It's becoming more and more smart players with professional teams, great funding. Treasury of Bitcoin is standard for miners. Like if you're in Bitcoin mining, you are keeping as much Bitcoin as possible. So there are treasury companies way before treasury companies were cool. So really, miners are tough nut to crack, or how you call it in English. I'm not worried for them.
And we already are at the zettahash. Am I seeing that wrong?
You see, I didn't even look. I think so. I'm not sure if it's calculated from reported or the estimated. It still varies. If you scroll up, there's the table, and the table says hash rate current. Yeah, well, on zettahash, you're right, and reported for okay. Hey, happy zettahash! I didn't know that actually. Happy
zettahash.
It might be that it's from like the blocks where a little bit faster sometimes happen, but I'll look into it. But if so, it's gonna be a great moment to remember, man.
Awesome, man. That's great. There's so many interesting topics with you, and we're already at the end of the time. But I would love to just keep going for 2 hours. Maybe we have to do a second episode. I asked each and every one of my guests that are new on the podcast one question, and the question is, what can we learn from you besides Bitcoin?
Besides Bitcoin, interesting. That's a very interesting question. Hey, I'm a chief of propaganda. I like marketing, so I'll stick to my guns. People think the propaganda word is negative. I love marketing. So the guy who invented public relationships, Edward Bernays, he's a founding father of PR. He wrote a book titled Propaganda. And if anybody is interested in PR and marketing, like this is your Bible. And he said, and he puts it in the best possible way. And he says, actually, the word propaganda, it was created 400 years ago in Vatican, in Congregato de Propaganda Fide. It was a association to propagate faith. So propaganda is a neutral term. It just says spreading of ideas. So propaganda is not a negative word. That's why I accept it, and I want to cleanse it from the negative of some people using it. And if you're into marketing and PR, definitely read Propaganda by Bernays. But of course, if you want to know about Bitcoin, then read my book. It's for free download. I just published it. You can see legendary S9. It's going to be the battle tank of mining industry forever, and a BitX. So really, I try to write a whole overview of the entire space in the language that is absolutely understandable by everybody, and that your ADHD brain can handle. So, for example, I wrote it as like a Twitter thread. So there's like 15 sentences on page. You will read this in an hour and a half. You'll not feel like cover to cover, and you'll know everything like end to end the entire space. So really, if you're interested in anything, really just download it and let me know how was the book.
Man, I think we can learn a lot from you, Kristian, or Kristian.
Appreciate it, man.
How we say it in Europe. We have an entertain in the podcast where the previous guest is asking a question for the next guest without knowing who the next guest actually is. And the previous guest asked you the question: when Bitcoin reaches $10 million, so what? What are you doing then? How will it change things for you? And what are you planning for the times after Bitcoin hits $10 million?
It's bittersweet. I really remember. I'll keep doing what I do. I love marketing. I love Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin mining. I love my job. I love my team. Really, like I'm living the life, man. But it's bittersweet. I really always remember how Jan Čapek says, it's really bittersweet because really Bitcoin rising in fiat price, it means we're so right, and it's like bittersweet because like the system is so crooked and so fucked and so ruined. It's like it's like, yeah, you're happy. Like but at the same time, it's like, I wish we didn't need Bitcoin. Actually, it's like maybe it would be better. Like, so it's really bittersweet. So yeah, I'll celebrate. I'll keep doing what I do, literally exactly the same. You'll see me wearing the same hoodie, Bitcoin hoodie, working for the same company, doing the same job. I'll celebrate and I'll get drunk with my friends, that's for sure. But it will be bittersweet, really. Always it is. It's like it proves that we're all right, and the system is absolutely dead, and it's all super crooked and just going into apocalyptic scenarios. That's why Bitcoin is so successful. So it's really bittersweet.
I love that answer. Really, really cool. Before I let you go, where can people find you and all the books and everything?
Guys, follow me on Twitter. I do cool stuff. I do that. That's how Robin actually reached out to me. I just shoot some videos. I want to show Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining is exciting and simple. Like you can get excited about Bitcoin and you can really understand it. So that's my videos that I make. That's the book that I made. Just go to brains.com with brains.com/books. It's there. It's gonna be in a week on Amazon also. And just reach out. Really, I love that about Bitcoin community. Like everybody's so helpful. If you're interested in it, just drop me a DM. Like everybody's just there and available. So don't worry. And one more thing that would kill me if I forgot. It's sitting here on my table. We made a new hardware. So it's the ultimate Bitcoin mining clock. So it's of course we have 69 and 420. We made like a ultimate Bitcoin clock. So go check it out. Brains Deck. We ship mid-November, so you're gonna have it for Christmas. It's the ultimate thing that you need on your table. It does everything from mining monitoring to price alerts to weather and all that. I had to do shameless plug. And if Robin agrees, he'll later have Robin 5 promo code, so you can sneak it into the episode later.
Absolutely. Whenever you buy something in Bitcoin, just type in Robin. It might just give you a discount.
True.
Really cool. Thank you so much, Kristian, for being on. Really cool. And also thank you so much for everyone that is watching and listening, for joining us today. As always, I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice.